Okay. This one is a little more personal today, but I wanted to make this video because part of the reason I make these videos is because I want to make videos for my younger self. I want to be able to give the advice and share what I know now with my younger self. Obviously, I can't do that. I can't turn back time. I can't go back to the past. What I can do, though, is share what I know now, and hopefully it reaches some of you who are also younger and in a weird time in your life and are looking for guidance. And hopefully, some of what I have learned will help you along your journey so that you do not make the same mistakes as I did. So, if any part of my journey maybe resonates with you right now and you are younger, then this advice might be for you. But also, I know that a lot of you who follow me are my age or even older, and we're still on this journey together of learning life as we go and figuring things out. And I think it's just interesting to kind of swap stories. Some of this stuff might resonate with you as well. I would also love to hear your ideas about things that you wish you had done when you were younger, as well as those of you who are older than me now. I'd love to hear your advice because I am trying to take all the advice right now. I'm trying to heed all the warnings and all the advice I should have taken when I was younger. So, with that being said, let's talk about 6 things I regret or wish I had done sooner in my 20s. All of these things, had I done them, I would have been in a much different place now. And now I know coulda, shoulda, woulda. There's really no point in reminiscing on the past or feeling bad about the past because it happened, it's done with. But like I said, this is kind of like me reaching back to my younger self. And hopefully, by me doing this, maybe some of you who are on your own personal development journeys right now will learn from me and will be better able to navigate your life and not make the same mistakes I did. So let's start with number one. All right. The very first thing I would tell myself or tell you is to pick something and stick with it, stick it out. So, what do I mean by this? Okay. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, I had a lot of different things kind of going on for me. And, I have talked about this in one of my videos previously about like how like losing weight almost ruined my life or whatever. Basically, it just kind of talks about how I had like a little bit of a mini breakdown, basically my late teens, early 20s. And I was just in a weird mindset, right? A weird mindset. But I also was just so young and didn't have the right guidance and could not see very far ahead. So I had different things going for me at that time. I had my book deal. I had been pursuing modeling. And I also had, guys don't know this, I used to have a YouTube channel back in the day when I was like 19 or 20. I had started one because I had a blog that no one's going to remember this. If you do, if there happens to be one single one of you out there that remembers this blog, it was called Fit Chick Teen. Anyway, I had started this blog after I had been blogging for 17 magazine. And it was like a whole like fit chick teen, right? It was about like weight loss stuff and fitness tips. So at like 1920, before they had like all the fancy AI stuff now where you can go and like develop your website, like I was in there like trying to learn coding and doing all the rudimentary WordPress blogs. And I actually had a little bit of a following, right? For back then, for having only had it going for like a little while. This was before my book came out, right? And I had started the YouTube channel because I wanted to film a workout video that I wanted to post on my website. And so to do that though, it was just weird. I had to take it on like one of those like little digital cameras, and it was so different back then. You didn't have your iPhones. Anyway, long story short, I had started that basically just so I could put the video up on my channel or on my website. And when I tell you that back then, remember, influencers didn't really exist. YouTube was kind of just becoming something where you had other people out there that were doing things other than music videos. I put that video up there. I think it was like a Heidi Klum workout video or something, and it was really bad quality. Next thing I know, I get a check from Google, from YouTube for like $100 or something because my video had gotten like 40,000 views in like a couple days that I posted it. I had no idea what that meant. No idea what that meant, right? I was just like, okay, cool. $100, like, okay. Back then there was no, like, you didn't have content creators like you did right now. Okay. It was totally different. It wasn't like a career, right? Anyway, long story short, stuff is to say, I had all these little things going for me. But I could not see in the future. And then because I was going through all the weird stuff I was going through, then around that time, like I had gotten to a point where I got too skinny when I was kind of getting into modeling. And then I ended up gaining a bunch of weight back because I got too skinny. I was not in a healthy place. I needed to gain the weight, not in the way that I did it though. I gained too much weight back, and that really impacted my chances at becoming a model when I moved to New York City in my early 20s. And then I just stopped doing everything at that point. I just shut it all down. I shut down my site, I shut down my YouTube. I stopped, working on my writing. I think my book came out around that time too, in my early 20s. And I don't think I did anything to promote it. I just kind of froze. And a lot of it was because I just thought, well, there's just no point. I don't know how to explain it. I was just in a weird mindset, right? And I just thought there's no point. Like all of this stuff is stupid. Like, what am I even trying for? And it was a really confusing time for me because I didn't know what to do. And just so you guys know, I didn't go to college because I didn't want to, I guess, at the time. Like I said, I had the book deal going and the modeling. So I thought I was going to do that. And I don't know, was it a good decision or not? Who knows? Coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? But yeah, it was a weird time for me, very confusing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was bartending at the time in New York City to make money. That's how I paid my rent. And it just kind of became a very stagnant period in my life. Looking back on it now, though, right, in hindsight, I see how short sighted I was. I see how all the things I was doing back then are all the things I'm doing now, right? All the things I should have been doing, I should have stuck with. Had I been able to see past it back then, I did not see the potential in anything I was doing. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why, right? Like, had I just been able to get more serious about the modeling, get into shape earlier, had I just continued writing my blog, continued making videos, right? You can imagine, like, I would have been a lot farther along back then with all the things I learned. I had this book that I started back then, a children's book. I'm also a children's book writer, and I started it back then, and like I said, I barely touched it, maybe a few times over the years, my entire 20s. I just finished the book now, right? And it sounds crazy, like looking back on it now, but in my young mind, my very just kind of messed up mindset at the time, yeah, none of that seemed like had any potential. It was worth anything because I felt like I was worth anything at that point in time. Again, I don't know why. I don't know why. Looking back now in my 30s, I can look back at that version of myself and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, stick with this, do this, like, get out of your own head, right? Get out of your own drama. So that is my first tip of advice for you. If you are in your 20s and, maybe you are also going through a really weird time, because I think it's pretty common. I think a lot of us, especially as females in our early 20s, it's a weird time. And we can be very short-sighted. We, think that like the silliest thing, some kind of boyfriend problem or a friend problem, like, oh, that's the end of the world and this matters more than anything else, right? It really doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. What matters most is your future. Okay, what matters most is you focusing on yourself and you focusing on something that will propel you forward. And this might be a weird time in your life. Maybe you also didn't go to college, or maybe you did, and now you're out of college and you're still like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, I thought I'd have a guaranteed job. I thought I wanted to do this, but I don't. What I would tell you is to find something, okay? Just anything, whatever, and stick with it. Okay. For me, maybe it would have been just making YouTube videos, or maybe it would have been writing. Maybe it would have been trying to really seriously pursue modeling, really seriously try to get in shape, right? No matter what it is, maybe you have several things you want to do and that's part of the problem. You can't pick what you want to do and you feel like, well, I guess I could start writing, but I don't know if it'll get published. So what's the point, right? That's kind of like a feeling like you don't know what has the most potential for you. And the thing is, you don't have to know, right? All you need to do is pick something and stick with it, because that is what is going to propel you forward in life. That is going to give you the experience. And it may not be the same thing that you end up doing for the entirety of your life. It doesn't matter, because when you choose one path, okay, you choose something, you work on that, you get really good at that. Whether or not that becomes your life dream, your life plan, it doesn't matter, because more than likely it is going to lead you to your life plan. Okay. So you may start trying to become a writer and you're grinding every single day and you're trying to write books or whatever. And maybe that doesn't really go anywhere, but you know what? Maybe during that process, you learn a lot in that process. You learn how to become a better writer. You learn how to become a better communicator. And that gives you the experience that you need for the job that actually becomes your dream job, that actually becomes, your life plan. So that is what I would tell you right now. If you are confused, if you don't know what to do, but you have some kind of inkling, right? There's something that you've always thought about doing that you always think you would be good at, right? Choose that, do that, and just work on it, right? Just work on it. Make that your main focus. Maybe something will come of it, maybe it won't, but I guarantee you're still going to be moving forward in your life. It will still give you the experience that you need for whatever it is that you end up doing in your life, but you need something to focus on. And I think that these years are so formative because I think there's this other thing too that I got told a lot when I was in my early 20s, like, oh, you're young, you have time, like, don't stress it, don't worry. Um, yes and no. Like, yes and no. I don't know that that's great advice. And look, I don't think mean that, you need to have everything planned out and, you know exactly what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Every year, you need to have your 5-month plan, your 6-month plan, your 5-year plan, right? You don't need to know that. But what I would say is you should be actively working on the life that you want in the future because it comes at you fast. All right. It comes at you fast. I remember when I started bartending and like, I was like, I'm just going to do this for year, I don't know, like a little while until I figure something else out. 6, 7 years later, right? Still bartending, still not living the life that I wanted to do. Until one day I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? Right. So I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you. And again, like I said, you don't have to have it all figured out. I'm not saying that, you can't be a bartender. You can't, have a couple years where you're just kind of figuring things out. For sure, you can. You shouldn't stress over it. But I think that you should be actively pursuing something. You need to be working on something. And I think that was my biggest mistake. Whether I was bartending or doing whatever, I should have also been actively working on something else. And like I said, I just wasn't in the mindset back then to have done it. But I want you to be in the mindset. So yeah, I mean, because look, those years are very formative years and they will be the difference between you being really successful and ahead in life when you hit your 30s versus you feeling like you got to play catch up, right? So that is my advice for you right now. Find something to pursue and stick with it. Okay. The second thing that I would tell you to do is to be more confident. And yes, I know that this is advice that anyone and everyone will give you and always has given you. They'll give it to you at every, age in your life, right? And I think that it's something that is easier said than done for sure. And I know that, you're like, well, but Whitney, you say be more confident, but you also say, you have to, lose weight and do all these other things to be more confident. How am I supposed to be confident right now when I'm still fat? I'm still not, with the dream job I want, the dream boyfriend. And what I can say to you right now is yes, when you have your ideal body and you're healthier and you have your dream boyfriend, your dream job, oh yeah, it's a lot easier to be confident for sure, which is why I think that you should pursue those things in your life that you want to do. They do make you feel more confident when you are the person you actually want to be. But what I also say is wherever you're at right now, you still have to have the confidence to even pursue that stuff. And I think another thing too, in hindsight, right, I look back at myself, my young 20 something self, and at that point in my life, I was in such a bad place. I didn't see how valuable I really was. I didn't see how smart I was, how talented I was, how beautiful I was. It was like there were blinders up, right? And so I wasn't as confident. I dealt with a lot of things I shouldn't have dealt with because I didn't feel like I was even worthy of being confident. Right? That was just how I felt in my mind. It doesn't mean it was true. And it wasn't true. I look back on it now, it was not true for sure. But that's just how I felt. And so that is what I would tell you right now. Okay. Young 20 something, even if you're in your 30s. Okay. I don't care how old you are. You are so much more beautiful, smart, talented, and worthy than you think you are. You just are. Okay. By divine right, you are. As a child of God, as a child of the universe, right? Whatever you want to call it, you are smarter, more capable, more beautiful than you give yourself credit for. You are. And I know you're going to sit there and say, like, no, Whitney, you really don't understand. Like, I'm really not that pretty. Like, I'm really, nerdy. I don't have any friends and I'm really not that smart because I can't do X, Y, Z. I'm telling you right now, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. If you are watching this right now, that means that you are searching for self-development content. That means that you are aware enough that you want to change your life. You want to live your ideal life. You know that there is something deep inside of you that is worth more. So that is your key right there. And listen to me, okay? I am telling you right now that you are more worthy than you believe you are. You are smarter than you believe you are. You are more beautiful than you believe you are too. That's another thing too. You will look back, okay, your 30s, 40s, you'll look back at your old pictures and you'll be like, oh my God, my skin, my hair, like I had it all back then. It was so much more beautiful than you thought you were. You'll take advantage of these years. Okay. And I know it might not feel like that where you are right now, but I'm telling you that you are. And if it doesn't feel like that because you are in an environment that constantly beats you down, again, it is likely because you are more beautiful, more smart, and more valuable and more capable than you believe you are, and others see it. Okay, that's why they're trying to put you down. Okay, it's not you, you're in the wrong space. All right, and that doesn't mean that you don't have things to work on. It doesn't mean that you are just perfect as you are and that you don't need to change. No, for sure, we all need to change, we all need to work on ourselves, but you need to have the confidence and the belief in yourself to be able to make those decisions. And it was something that's so interesting because I think about it a lot. Again, like I said, my 20s, weird time. I don't know what happened, guys. I don't know what happened, but when I was 230 pound, 14-year-old girl who was bullied every day, had no friends, I had the confidence back then. I really believed that, hey, I can lose 100 pounds. What do you mean? Right? Oh, I can write a book. I can do this. I can become a model because I had, an inner belief and inner confidence that somehow got shattered, I guess, in my late teens, early 20s. But whatever, this is not supposed to be a sob story about my life. It's supposed to be teaching you guys what to learn from me. Okay. So when I tell you that you are worth so much more than you believe, I want you to believe it right now. Okay. And the way you believe it, the way you act on it, is you start trusting in yourself and you start making different decisions from the place of realizing that you are more confident, you are more beautiful, you are more smart and more capable than you know. You don't have to have it all figured out right now, but you will learn and you will grow, but you have to start. Okay, the next thing, the third thing I would tell myself back then is to quit the partying and the drinking a lot sooner than I did. So I have been open with you guys before. I had a little bit of a crazy past in my 20s. Look, some of it was just being in my 20s. I think that there is nothing wrong with doing a little bit of partying and just having fun with your friends. I don't regret all of my experiences in New York City. It was a crazy time, a fun time. But what I would say is that especially New York. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to have your 20s in other places. New York is a crazy place. And I think when you're younger, it's just a place to run wild. I'd even say when you're older, I remember a lot of older people too that I would hang out with. And yeah, they were I don't know. They could party too. And I don't know. It's crazy now because I look back and I'm like, I don't know I don't know. I could never be my age now doing what I was doing then. Anyway, regardless, um, yeah, I would say quit the partying and the drinking a lot sooner. And I think that this is changing a lot for the younger generations. I'm reading that they're drinking less and going out less, which I think is good, right? Don't get me wrong. Again, I think it's totally fine. Hey, having fun with your friends sometimes. I think we all need to have a couple messy moments, right? But my mistake was just letting it go on too long. I mean, it kind of just became part of my lifestyle back then. It was just the people I was hanging around with. It was kind of like a constant party in New York City. And I know that if, a lot of people at the time, my friends at the time would have been like, you're living the dream life. You basically get paid to party. And at one point I was. I mean, I wasn't like paid to party, but I didn't have to pay rent. I mean, it was, yeah, it was fun when you're in your early 20s and it seems like it's great, but it wears on you after a while. I mean, for me, especially, like I am just not on top of things. Right? Like that lifestyle was not conducive to me progressing. It was not conducive to me being healthy, which is another big reason why it was harder for me to lose the weight and why I wasn't happy with my body back then because I was just partying all the time, right? And then I just, would drink and then I, wouldn't want to work out as much or just wouldn't, didn't eat as healthy as I should have. And it just, yeah, I mean, it held me back a lot because that was just kind of my main focus at the time. And so that is what I would say to, you, if you are younger and you're going through this. I felt like part of the reason I was so caught up in it is, like I said, that was the lifestyle. And everyone's, oh, it's a dinner here and then, drinks here and then drinks there and then a club here. And it just seemed like, well, everyone's doing it. I don't want to miss out on anything. I felt like, well, like I'm not cool if I'm going to stay home on a Friday or Saturday night while everyone else is out doing all this fun stuff. And I look back now and I'm like, number one, like it's really not that it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Okay. Maybe at first, like your early 20s, it's kind of fun to experience it. But after a while, it just became really boring to me. I remember that like at club after club or restaurant after restaurant and drinks, it all just kind of muddled into one night. And it's like, is this even fun anymore? And I realize now that my time would have much been better spent staying home and working on what I should have been working on, going to sleep early so I can get up in the morning and go to the gym, right? So that is what I would want to impart onto you right now, whether you are in college right now, going through the crazy college phase. Like, hey, have some fun. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that you shouldn't. But if you feel like this is becoming a problem or it is something that is keeping you back from, it's making you miss your workouts, it's making you not, do so well in your test or not do so well in your job, then it's time to cut it back. Like I promise you too, it is much more worth it for you to spend that time working on something that is going to take you farther, right, in the future than you going out and getting drunk with your friends. And most of the time, the people that you meet too in those party atmospheres, you think they're your friends, they're not your friends. Those are your party friends. You won't know them in your 30s. You won't know them in the future. And trust me, you're really not missing out on anything. Okay. That's the other thing too. It's not like you're never going to get to go to a bar or a club or restaurant when you're in your 30s. You most definitely can. Okay. It's just a totally different vibe, totally different feel. You're going to enjoy it a lot more because it's a lot less messy. You have more money to actually do the things you want to do. So you're not missing out on anything. You're really not. If you are someone who you much rather prefer staying at home, reading a book, working on your projects, do that. Do not feel like, you are not cool or you are somehow missing out on being young and crazy. You're not missing out on much. Okay. Fourth thing I would have told myself, and this one is probably the most important, is that I would have lost weight, gotten shape, and gotten healthier uh, sooner. And part of the reason why this was so hard for me was because of the things that I mentioned. Okay, the partying too much, me not being confident, me not really having a direction or knowing what I was doing at that time. It's not like I didn't know that I wanted to lose weight at that time. I did. I don't think I was ever comfortable with my body. I mean, I think at one point I might have gotten a little bit into the body positive stuff and was like, oh, but maybe this is just time supposed to be. And no, I was never comfortable. Okay. It is what it is. Maybe some people are. I was not. And mostly because I knew it wasn't healthy for me. Like I knew that I was that weight because of my behaviors. So yeah, most of my 20s, I think I fluctuated from like 140 to like 150s up to 160, really at my heaviest. And I know it's not overweight, but it wasn't what I wanted to be. Definitely was not my modeling weight, which is a big part of the reason why I had trouble, right? Getting modeling jobs and getting signed with an agency was because I was just in the in between size. So yeah, I regret not getting in shape earlier because of that. But more importantly, because I know for me, like being healthy, being fit is the foundation for everything in my life. I think for most people, I don't know that you can really live your most authentic, most successful life unless you are healthy and feel good on the inside, because I just think that is so important to how you feel about yourself, and how you feel about yourself is everything. How you feel about yourself determines how successful you are in life. And because for me, that was very important, then yeah, I mean, that showed through in my entire life, right? I didn't take anything else seriously because I wasn't taking myself seriously. And so I do wish that I had been more focused on that. And I know I was in a weird mindset at the time, but I wish that that had been the main thing I had focused on. And I wish that I had, above all else, right? And like I said, part of the other things was because I wasn't as confident and I was doing, the going out and the partying. Had I not been going out and doing as much partying, I would have focused more on getting fit, getting healthy. I would have been more confident. And also it's just like, I think I did a short about this, about how like, get in shape now, lose the weight now, before you more in the life you could have had. And I do think about that a lot now. It's like, again, coulda, woulda, shoulda, too bad, so sad, whatever. But had I been like in better shape back then, had I been like my healthiest, hottest self in my 20s, right? I'm not saying you can't be beautiful in 30s and beyond, for sure. I mean, I feel like the hottest and healthiest I have forever. But your 20s, it's just a different time. It's a different feel. And I do wish that I had navigated my 20s feeling more confident in myself, looking my best, feeling my best. It just would have made my entire experience different, and it would have made my future, my present different. So yes, if that is something that is bothering you, if that is something that has always bothered you, or that's where you are at right now, whether you are younger or older, okay, do it now. Just start now. I mean, let this be your sign, okay? No more of this. I don't know what to do. No, you know what to do. You know what to do. I mean, watch the rest of my videos, okay? If you really don't know how to lose weight, watch my videos because I tell you how to do it. You just got to do it, right? You got to do it. You just got to start. And I wish that's, what I could tell myself, my younger self right now. God, just do it. Just do it now. It will be so worth it, and you're gonna feel so much better. Just gotta work on it. You're not gonna be perfect at it. It's day by day, it's consistency. But God, make that your main focus. If you make anything else your focus, make that your main focus, okay? If you don't know what to do in life, if you are still in a weird transition period, if you don't, you don't know what else to focus on, like I said, the very first thing to focus on something, focus on that, okay? I don't care whatever else you're doing. Maybe you're just working at CVS right now, you're working at McDonald's, you're not sure what your future is. Fine, work at CVS, work at McDonald's, and then when you get off, go to the gym. Okay, meal prep, eat healthy, focus on you, focus on feeling your best on the inside out. Because I'm telling you now, when you do that, when you are living more authentically to who you want to be, that is when your life changes. That is when everything changes. Okay, so if you don't know what else to do right now, your life is in shambles and you have no confidence, everything's a mess. Focus on getting your fittest and hottest self. This is very important, especially as women, as men as well, but definitely for women, it will change your life. It will change your life. And I know for sure it changed mine. I did it twice, right? In my teens and then in my early 30s, it's changed my life. So I'm telling you, do that. Always focus on yourself because yourself is the only person you have at the end of the day. All the people in your past, they won't be there in the future. It's only going to be you. So it's better that, you focus on doing what's best for you than showing up for, I don't know, Karen, what's her name on her birthday and getting wasted with her. No, go to the gym instead. That's what I would tell you. All right. The fifth thing I would do is to start saving money or start investing really right now, wherever you're at, especially if you're in your 20s. And this is just because, look, money is so important. And I've always known this. I grew up in a family, we didn't have a lot of money. And, we're not poor. Like we were fine. Don't feel bad for me. But I mean, just there was always that insecurity, right, with money and money. That is what I see money as now. It's not about buying designer bags or having all the luxury stuff. Money is freedom. Okay. Money is freedom. Money is, you being able to leave that boyfriend or not because, you can't right now because he's paying the rent. And if you leave, well, where are you going to live, right? Money is the difference between you staying stuck in a job you hate. Money is the difference between you getting sick and then becoming bankrupt. Money just gives you freedom and security. I think that, this is just something that when I was younger, I always knew I wanted money. I needed it, but I didn't really understand how it worked. I definitely didn't. I didn't know what saving. I didn't realize everyone had savings accounts. I didn't know what saving money was. I just knew that like I live paycheck to paycheck. This is just how I was raised. That's just what money comes in and goes out, and you're always struggling. You're always behind. It doesn't have to be that way. I remember the very first time. I remember because I actually did pretty well when I was bartending in New York City, and I remember I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking home all this money, but at the end of the day, I wasn't even spending. Not like I was buying designer bags. I don't know what I was spending on. I guess going out, and I was like, well, where is all my money going? Anyway, I did this one thing where I was like, well, I'm going to start saving, and literally all I did was I started saving just the cash tips that I would make nightly, and then I didn't notice any difference in my lifestyle. But when I tell you that was like a few months, I had like $10,000 saved. I was like, what? What is this? Where did all this money come from? But it literally I realized I just had no idea how money worked. And I think it's sometimes when it's not on your brain, okay, to save or invest, I mean, you spend more than you realize. And anyway, long story short, beyond that, yes, I would have, started saving my money a lot sooner. On top of that, I would have started investing too. And that I think is something, especially for women. I don't know, maybe not younger generation, my generation. I don't know. We were never taught about finance. So investing was something that's what the stockbrokers in New York City do. I don't know. No one in my family invested. So I didn't know anything about it. And I wish I had though. I wish I had because yeah, even putting away $100 a week, if you're in your early 20s, you do that for 10 years, you'll have a nice little chunk of change when you're older. And I think that stuff is just so important to know that in hindsight, right? Again, do it now. Even if you, like I said, $100, $50, $5, whatever. Now there are so many different apps out there that it just makes it so much easier. You can do it all from your phone. And I think that is so important as women, as anyone, start saving your money, start investing. And that's another thing too, right? Okay, focus on your fitness, but also focus on your money. So I don't care if you're working at McDonald's and you don't know what you want to do with the rest of your life and it's a shit job, whatever, but work as much as you can. Work as much as you can. If you really have no idea what else to do, you don't know what else to pursue, then get as many shifts at McDonald's as you can. Go home, go to the gym, take the extra money you have, put it in investments, right? Put it in a savings account. Because yeah, maybe you'll be working at McDonald's or CVS for the next 5, 10 years, whatever. But if you're working on yourself and you're saving that money, you're investing it, then you're going to be a lot better off than you would if you just continued working at McDonald's or CVS for the next 5, 10 years and didn't and had nothing to show for it, right? So no matter where you're at, you can do something to set yourself up for a better future. Yeah, so that's very important, especially for us ladies. Finally, the last thing I would have told myself back then was to not date as much, to not worry about trying to find a partner, that there is time. And I say this because the online dating thing I think is so vile. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I think I have known some people who found their partner on there. That's great. That's awesome. But especially when you are not in a right mindset, when you're in a weird place in your life, you still haven't worked on yourself. Um, yeah, I don't know. The online dating thing was really weird. I think I did go on a lot of dates and I did the apps a lot, and I did not really see a lot of I didn't see a lot of results from it. Clearly, I never met anyone. And I think that really all it did was distract me from other stuff I should have been pursuing. And I think it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth from dating in general. Like, it was just a weird, there are a lot of weirdos on there, right? And I think too, just being younger and not being able to more easily discern who's a loser, who's not. I think that you set yourself up for a lot of heartache. And then when things don't work out, you're like, oh my God, like what's wrong with me? Right. And I think another thing too, part of why I did so much dating was not necessarily so much because I was looking for a boyfriend. It was more because I felt like, I don't know, I felt like not normal for not having a boyfriend or not being able to find a partner, if that makes any sense. Like I was never someone who never really had a boyfriend before. And I remember all my other friends and people, it just seemed like they had a new boyfriend every other month and they were totally in love every single time. And that never happened to me. So I felt like for me, there must be something wrong with me. So I did. I stressed out a lot about it. And again, in hindsight, I would have told myself, get off the freaking apps. Don't worry if no one approaches you. Don't worry about it. Okay. 2 reasons why. Okay. Number one, because I should have been focusing on myself, which would have put me in a much better place in the future. Number three, I think things happen when they happen. And when I tell you, I met my now fiance, my partner at 29. And when I met him, did not meet him on an app, right? Met him through my sister and a mutual friend. But when I tell you, it was like the stars aligned, or it's like, okay, suddenly everything makes sense. Okay. The reason why nothing else worked before with any other guy, the reason why I didn't have luck, it was never me. I can see it now. I mean, it might have been me sometimes. I'm not going to lie. But I mean, what I'm trying to say though is that like it all made sense when I met him. It just instantly, it was effortless. Okay. It was effortless. And I realized like, okay, it wasn't that I was unlovable or, I had the worst taste in guys. I mean, I did at one point, but whatever. It was really just that I had not met that person, because when we met, it was like instant, right? And we've been together ever since. Again, had I known in hindsight, like, hey, why are you freaking out? Don't freak out. Like, yes. Okay. What I would have told myself, like 22, 23, whatever, next 5, 6 years, you're going to meet the love of your life anyway. Right. Had I known that, I would have been like, okay, I would have been chilling. I wouldn't have been stressing about anything. Maybe gone on a few dates here and there if it happened, but I'm not going to like, okay, get on the apps and, try to make it happen. Have to meet all these weird guys for no reason. Right. It's a strange world out there, especially in New York City. Again, I don't know about other places because I never really dated other places, but so yeah, that's what I would tell you if you are young and you are stressing about, oh, I'm never going to meet someone. And I know too, when I was younger, I felt like, oh my God, like I'm 25, 26. Like, am I ever going to meet anyone? I'm getting old. You're not getting old. You're going to be fine. It happens when it happens. And it almost always has to happen when you least expect it. And also, I think too, around that time when I met my husband, our future husband, is that I had already started working on myself and I was in a better mindset than I was when I was in my 20s. And I think that's also a big thing too, is if you want to meet the right partner, if you want to attract the right people in general in your life, you want to be the best version of yourself that you can. Okay. Not that you need to be a perfect person, but I think that when you start valuing yourself more, when you start working on yourself more and you feel more capable and you feel more like your authentic self, that is when you attract the right people. Because when you're not, when you don't feel good with yourself, okay, when you have more desperate energy or you feel you're like, you are not worthy of good things, that's when you attract the losers. All right. That's when you attract the people that you don't want in your life. So it is better to be alone and single and work on yourself than to, just have that desperate energy out there and just, being attracting all the wrong people. It will happen when it happens. I really believe that. I really believe if you want it to happen, okay? Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to be single. I don't know. But if you do, I believe it happens when it happens. Focusing on yourself is number one. Okay, so that's it. Sad. That was a very much more personal thing than usual, but I really wanted to put that out there or put this out there because yeah, in some ways I feel like I am trying to speak to my younger self. I do wish that I'd had, a place to come to for guidance like this when I was younger. Not that I didn't have good people in my life. By the way, if any of my friends or family are watching, I know I did have good people. I was not the kind of person that would have gone to them for help. I think sometimes it is easier to go to a complete stranger on the internet, right? Than it is to open up to those closest to you. And I hope that this helps some of you. Again, I'd like to hear your thoughts. And I'm also very interested if, those of you who are my age, do we go through similar stuff? I don't know. Hopefully, you younger generation, you can learn from us and you won't have to go through all the stuff we did. But, it is what it is. Live and you learn. I do believe that a lot of things happen for a reason. And there is always time to start again, no matter where you are in life. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Leave me comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, be sure to check out my book, 1 Year, 100 Pounds, which is the story of how I lost 100 pounds on my own at 14 years old. It's also a tough love guide for how you can do it too. And of course, my 1 Year New You guided weight loss journals, which are based off of the same journaling method I used to lose 100 pounds and still use today. If you want to check those out, I will leave them in the links below. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.